in the world. And I study about, and these things been going on for the longest while, right? All because, you find that mothers are oftentimes stuck with their children, and because the child comes out of the womb, they hold on to the child, and they try their best to help that child in life. But many times the daddies just go their way, they're gone. Okay? They're gone. Okay, so it's really a sad situation that the daddies just disappear. I mean, some of these women sometimes at the same time, unfortunately don't even know who the daddy is for the child. They've seen that on TV maybe, right? And many times the man who is sometimes taking care of this child is not the daddy, okay? Sometimes he knows, sometimes he doesn't know. But he just celebrated a Happy Father's Day, and father is a very important thing, right? And people just say it, and I guess it's something like a commercial thing because, years ago the only thing your father used to get was a, right? That was the only gift, right? So now they've been trying to figure out how to give daddy besides the tie, right? But, so I'm saying this to you that I think I missed something in my line of thought. No? But what I'm saying to you is that the let me say Holy Ghost, help me with this. But I'm saying to you that the idea of having a daddy is something that runs in the line of man, because God made man before he made woman, right? And yet still, many times you can find your mother, but you can't find your father. It doesn't make any sense, right? It shouldn't be like that, right? Because the man, you say, was first, the woman came after. In your lifetime, you might be able to find your mother. You will be more likely to find your mother. But sometimes you don't know where your daddy is, right? Just be irresponsible sometimes, or maybe. If he's dead, well, he's dead. But if he's alive, then you want to know who he is. And some people spend money and all manner of ways to track and to trace where their daddy is to find out where he is, right? Because they hear that maybe he's in Australia, or I wonder if he will, they might even have his name, right? But they never seen him, okay? Never seen him or heard from him. So that's one situation. But when you start to have when you have a daddy, there's one thing you know is that you would want that daddy to be home. Right? You want that daddy to be to be where you are. Isn't that true? As I said to you, I know fully well what it is like, because I had the full complement of it, okay? And even after I left home, still had my daddy, okay? But what I'm saying, to live, to get that childhood part of you craves for that daddy, okay? Craves for the mommy, daddy. Yeah, it's a sad thing what's been happening in families today, and especially nowadays. It's been going on for a long while anyway. Child growing up, you see mommy, son want to be like daddy, right? And daughter want to be like mommy, right? That's how it goes, right? Then when they get to like a teenage kind of thing, correct me if but I think there's a kind of switch sometime, like where the son start to get attached to his mother, right? And the daughter start to get attached to her father. You talk about daddy's girl, right? Don't mess with daddy's girl, okay? And there's a kind of switch over. But when they're early, like before 12, coming up there, you find that son didn't want to be like daddy, everything is like daddy, right? Okay? But whether so or not, son is gonna learn how to dress from his daddy, gonna learn how to carry himself and like from daddy. And then after a while he's gonna wanna be like, you know, he might wanna choose his own way of dressing, you know. He might not like my hairstyle, he might not like, you know, he still might be okay, but he wanna, because everybody that reaches a certain age is a teenager seeking for their identity. They wanna know who they are, they wanna show who they are in life, and you know, just to be like, who am I, you know? I'm David Ferguson, but who's David Ferguson? They're discovering themselves, as the saying would go. So they be trying armor and stuff, you know. I remember when we went to NYU, the person who was talking there, I don't know what they call him, but he was saying that when you go to college, you might, no, not me, I just went there with a child, but I'm not a graduate to NYU, but it was just saying that during the time you were there, you might change your majors, because you might think you like this thing, and then afterward, I don't like it, I switch to that, and I switch to that, I switch to that. I just said to you that they're young, they're searching for who they want to be and what they want to be. They might have thought, well, when they were growing up, I would want to be this and I would want to be that. But then later on, they said, no, I don't like this and I don't like that. Okay? So, this son is growing up and he want to be like daddy, but at the same time, he want to be like himself. Okay? And I know that. I wanted to be like my daddy, but I want to be like myself. Okay? So, there were times, sometimes, your daddy might have an argument. Because he might say, well, you know, this might be his idea of this thing, and you say, no, I don't agree with that. This is what I think. This should be it. Because you're becoming yourself. Okay? And so it is that later on down the road, you might say to yourself, you know, no, mercy, you know, Papa was right. You know? He was right. And he might be alive still, and you might be able to go back to him and you say, you know, Daddy, you were right what you said to me, you know. Maybe you might be dead and gone, but all you can say, well, you know, you was right all along. Okay? So, I know what those things are. Been through it, lived through it, know all of these things I'm talking about. Right? Because I told you, I had a daddy who was active in my life all the way through until when he passed away. Okay? So, I'm saying this to you that, but if you have a daddy who is alive and you want him to be at home, right? And if he should leave home, you want him to come back home. Okay? The point of the matter is this, that you might, I know that there are times when there are violent homes and all this other thing, and I'm not talking about that kind of home. Okay? I'm just talking about a regular good home, right? Where there might be little fuss here and there which will happen, and children sometimes argue and fight over who this must get this and who must drink it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying who's supposed to wash the dishes and whose turn it is to go help clean the place and all this sort of thing, and who is supposed to do that, right? And who drink out the last juice out of the fridge and leave none for, and nobody else can get any, who use up all the ice out of the fridge and there is none left, and who drink up all the water and there's no water left and didn't put any more inside the fridge, you know? Those things, you know what I'm talking about, right? Regular home, right? And who making some noise where I can't sleep, right? I will wake you up out of your bed when you want to sleep, okay? It's a regular home, right? And who's supposed to clear the table after dinner, right? Who's supposed to set the table? Because, well, that's another thing again. Because when I was a child, especially if it was like Sunday when we have dinner, the table was always set. Nowadays, I think as a children growing up don't even know what a set table is, because as for knife, I don't think they know what it is. I eat with a knife and a fork and all this thing. With a child, we knew all those things, and we knew how to set the table and how, you know, everything set on it, and how to sit down there and eat too, right? All of these things we had to do, okay? And when dinner was finished, you had to know, like, somebody going to clear the table, and you know to pack the dishes up, and then we're going to wash the dishes and all this. This was home. Okay? So when you have your regular home, you know, whatever little fuss, because let me tell you something, the more children you have inside the house, the more fuss you're going to have and more argument. Okay? Especially bigger one, little one. Like me, for example, as a little child, I always tell you, if you are the youngest one, be prepared that they're going to take advantage of you. Right? Because that's what I go through, and that's why I see other people who are the youngest one in the family. I told me the same thing after them. Okay? So, when you have your family, right, there are so many blessings from having a family with a mother, of course, usually is there, right? But the daddy is the one that usually goes missing, right? Now, generally speaking, you expect that a daddy goes to work. The Bible tells us that the man provides for his family. The government tells us the same thing that it's supposed, because these laws are made based on the Bible. And so it has been, so it will be. So, you know, expect that your daddy is going to be at home all day. Okay? I remember one time when my son, when he went to bed, I wasn't there with him. And when he woke up, I wasn't there either. Because I came home so late, he was gone to bed. When I woke up, when he woke up, I was going to work again, already. Okay, which is kind of used to me not seeing me when he wake up in the morning, but at least he would see me in the evening. Okay, so he might not see me in the morning because he can sleep late, but I can't afford to sleep late. All right, otherwise we have nowhere to live. Okay, so what I'm saying is that when I was talking about building on top of what, now I get back to that point, was that my daddy didn't tuck me into bed. Right? Didn't come and tell me a bedtime story, didn't read me even a story of the Bible or tell me a story like that. Right? I guess because he wasn't used to that. But at least he did what he could do, right? And he would teach me things out of the Bible, and he would, if I'm sick now, then certainly he would give me that special attention, right? You know, many times your children, the children, right, they like to be sick because they get, you know, like the dog rub away his back, right? A special treatment, pet him, right? Sometimes the children pretend to be sick so they can get that kind of special treatment. I don't remember myself pretending to be sick though. There's no need to do that because when I was so young, I was a sickly child, so I didn't need to pretend to be sick. I didn't need to be sick more often than I was sick, being sick. Right? So I don't pretend nothing. But thank God for Jesus, because sometimes I think of myself now. I mean, I can go the whole year and go to work and they sit down and wait for me to come to work because I'm not going to be sick. I'm at work every day. Right? I wasn't like that when I was a child, sickly. But my daddy used to give special attention, of course, when you're sick and all this sort of thing. You sit down in his lap and he rock you or whatever and this kind of thing. And he used to hug you. You know, my children used to wonder when you come over and you say you feel sick, you used to go like this and go like this. You know? Be like this, oh you have a fever, I'm not well. By the way, I said, yeah, like that kind of thing, you know. So you learn that kind of thing too, you know. You would, I tuck in the chin when you come in, right? And that's what I touch, is take a thing and sit at the table, right? And wait for daddy to give some dinner. You know what that is like? Yeah? And you know that although you eat your dinner already before him come home, but when he gave you a lick of his dinner, it tastes sweeter than what your dinner you ate before. Right? So these are some of the things they did, right? And these things meant a whole lot to you as a child. But, as I said to you now, so I come up now later on and I learn about telling story at bedtime And I started to do those things, right? So that's the reason I tell you why my son would miss me, because at least I'm going to tuck him into bed and going to anoint his head and his feet and all his stomach and maybe a while, and of course they look forward to that little TLC, right? So it is a special thing. Where daddy's at home, it's supposed to be a special thing. Not a noisy thing of argument and quarrel and fighting and all this sort of thing. It must be a special thing, right? So when daddy's out, you want daddy to come home, okay? And if there is trouble in your home, if there is something going on, you believe that you wait till daddy come home and tell him that this happened, this fell down, or that happened, and you need him to fix it, right? And you believe he can fix it. Something happened at school, you want to tell daddy about it. You tell mommy yes, but if you have a daddy, you might want to tell him about it too, okay? So I'm just saying that when you get to the point where you start to think of Jesus as your daddy, it's a great thing. Right? You can hear people talk about it sometimes. They say, Jesus is my daddy. Oh, but I don't know if they consider it seriously. Right? Because they sing it and my Papa and Papa Jesus and all this sort of thing. But the point of the matter is this, that our Jesus daddy, our daddy Jesus then, right? He has told us that he left this earth and he promised that he would come back to this earth. Okay? There are so many things going on in this world today. So much destruction, disease, and all manner of evil. And war, not just rumors of wars and deadly things, earthquakes, and you know, as I spoke last week about those people in the building that collapsed, right? Still over 100 and maybe 150 of those people cannot be found, right? And it's over a week now. What are the chances of those people being found alive? Only God knows, if there's any, right? And where were these people? As I said, they were in their homes. They were on the street. Right? They weren't in Death Valley, where it's been so hot that they will collapse down there. They were supposed to be in the safest place that they say you can be, which is your home. Right? Sometimes when I look at those buildings, sometimes how they make them, and it's all over the world now. They have them in the Middle East, they have them in all manner, the East, they have them all over the world. These tall buildings. I said to myself, Lord have mercy. How they make these buildings way up in the air like that? Right? And something down in the bottom that's all attaches it to the ground. And it takes faith to really get up here. Some of these places, they say they are so hot that they have to put a cooling system in the wall to bring water up and down so that the people don't fry inside of the building. Okay? But they still do it. But just something happens and the earth could shake and it collapses. Bridges collapse, right? Rivers overflow, floods and all these kind of things. There's so many things that happen, and sometimes people are so callous with it, they say like, well, oh, that happened already, and that happened already, and that happened already, and that's happened already. And they don't understand that these things are signs of the end, the signs of the coming of the Lord, right? The Bible does say that when you see these things begin to come to pass, Jesus said, lift up your head, for your redemption draws nigh. I'm going to turn you over to John chapter 14. And Jesus was talking here. Daddy was here. Okay? And Daddy was saying, okay? This is what Daddy was saying. Where am I? Lord of mercy. Hear what Daddy said. He said, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way you know. Now, my natural daddy couldn't tell me that he's going to prepare a place for me. I will come again. Right? Now today, some people read the scripture, but they have a twisted understanding of it. Because they are thinking that Jesus went to heaven and he's sitting up there in heaven waiting for them to come to him. To make matters worse, they can't come to him unless they die. You think about that for a moment. You know, a co-worker was talking to me the other day, and she was saying something to me about a relative who died, just like that. Said that the person went to join God in heaven. And I asked her, do you believe in the resurrection? She said, yes. So I said, if the person is alive already, why does he need to be resurrected? And she said to me, that's a good question. Never thought about that. Okay? As I said to you that, as long as you believe that, you render the gospel useless. Because you feel that, well, a person's going to die and then he's going to go to heaven. So Jesus went to heaven and he went there, the daddy went away, right? And then he said, I want you to come up to where I am. I'm not coming back to you. That's not what the Bible said. The Bible said that I go to come. Right? Daddy said, I'm leaving you. Right? And he told his disciples, can I go a little further? He said, this new Bible here, what am I doing? Let me get my old Bible. Let me get my old Bible. Because there's a verse there where he told him, he said, a little while you see me, right? I said, a little while you shall not see me. A little while you shall see me. Right? And his disciples were wondering, what does he mean by that? Right? In fact, yeah. So, John chapter 14, right? So a little while, right? You have that marked here, this Bible pulling apart. It said here, he that loveth me, where is that? John 14, yeah, okay. He said here, verse 18, yet a little while, and the world seeth me no more, but ye see me. Not that one. The one said, believest thou me? Where's that verse? He said here, I'll pray the Father give you another comforter. Anyway, he said, yet a little while, that's not it. That's not it, that's not it. I go down a little further. It says here, anyway, maybe I can find it right now. But anyway, the point of the matter is I'm making that when the Lord left here, he went away to return. So when Daddy went away, he went to return. Now, the question is that, do you want him to come back? And the answer is yes. When do you want him to come back? Now, you might say, I don't know when he's going to come back. That's true. But you still can answer the question. For me, you ask me when do I want him to come back, I will tell you right now. Right now. You could come back right now, this very minute, Lord. Come back right now. I'm good. For many of us, we wouldn't want him to come, Daddy to come back now. Right? As I said the other day I was talking, when you at home, what are you doing? You're doing something you don't want Daddy to see, right? So you don't want him to come home. Daddy will catch me and gonna kill me. Right? You know? I remember this co-worker I was talking one time about something, and she said if my mother ever catch her, she likes to say, my mother would kill me if she knew I did something like that. Isn't it true? How many times you have done something, or even said something, or act certain way, and you know, you said if my mother and my father ever knew I was doing something like this, I would have been in so much trouble. Even though you might be a grown man or a grown woman. Right? Because especially your mother, she's going to look at you and say, what? Did I grow you that way to speak that kind of language? How dare you? Right? Okay? So oftentimes we're doing something and we know and say, well, I'm doing this, but I mean, if Daddy ever should have catch me doing something like that, I'm dead. Right? But still, you do it. And basically because your natural daddy not see you. But if you're home, you know Daddy must come home. So you try to straighten up everything and make everything nice. So when Daddy come home, hey Daddy, how are you? Oh, did you have a good day? How was your day, Daddy? Oh, you know, I miss you so much, you know. Oh, Daddy, I love you. Daddy, give you a hug and walk together and hug and whatever and so forth. Right? But little does Daddy know that you are doing something that he would bark at. He might find out later on, or he might never find out. Right? And I'm not saying I'm any different. There are things I've done which I never want my parents to know. I mean, I'd go bury my head in the sand or put myself in. If you know what I'm saying. Right? So I'm just saying this to you that you might, but whether so or not, at the end of the day, you're supposed to want Daddy to come home. Because even if you are doing something that you know Daddy wouldn't want you to do, you must get a hold of yourself and straighten up things that Daddy can come home. Am I saying something to somebody today? Right? And if you're a child of God, if you're not even a Christian today, if you're not even born again and not saved, you must want Daddy to come home. I'm saying you must want Jesus to come back. He's your only hope. He's the only hope of this world. So, if there's something wrong, then straighten it up. Okay? He said, let not your heart be troubled. If there's ever a time when there are troubles on this land, is now. And as I said before, I spoke about that time when, and I never